All right, so uh, let's dive into something that honestly changes faster than like, a TikTok trend these days. I'm talking about artificial intelligence. I mean, think about it. Like, remember when AI was pure science fiction?
Yeah,
Now it's everywhere. And I mean, everywhere.
it's true.
Even college campuses are being like totally reshaped by it.
It really is remarkable how fast it's gone from theory to like practical use for millions of people, especially in schools.
Yeah, you're a student, right? You're dealing with classes and just tons of information coming at you from all sides. There's so much pressure to keep up.
Absolutely.
And then boom, AI shows up offering this like whole new set of
And we're
possibilities.
seeing this play out in real time. There's this fascinating report by HPI in the UK. It's called the Student Generative AI Survey 2025.
Okay.
Gives us this like inside look at how students are really using AI, not just like what people think they're doing.
And what are they really doing? I'm curious.
The findings are pretty eye-opening.
Okay, so first things first, how many students are actually using AI?
Okay, so get this. The survey found that 92% of UK students are using AI in some way for their studies.
92%.
Yeah,
That's a massive jump from just a year ago. It was only 66%.
I know, right?
AI went from like, niche to mainstream almost overnight, it seems.
Absolutely. And this isn't just in the UK either.
Really?
We're seeing this globally, like universities around the world are dealing with the same thing. What's interesting is that this isn't just about students trying to like cheat
Right.
or find shortcuts.
So why are you students using AI? What are they actually saying about it?
Well, a big thing seems to be about improving how efficient and effective they are. They're reporting that AI saves them time and helps them do better work.
That makes sense because, I mean, isn't that the whole point of AI in general? To
Right.
make things easier and automate tasks. So it makes sense that students would be drawn to that.
Exactly. It's not just about getting things done faster, though.
Right. It's about learning and developing critical thinking skills, right?
Right.
So how are students actually using AI in a way that supports learning?
That is the big question. The survey highlights some interesting applications. One of the biggest ones is getting explanations for difficult concepts.
Like imagine having a 247 tutor that never gets tired.
Yeah,
Especially if you're struggling with something, that could be a game changer.
absolutely. Another big one is summarizing long articles or research papers. Like you're a student with stacks of academic papers to read. AI can distill that down to the key points and save you a ton of time and energy.
Oh my gosh, that would be so useful.
I know, right?
And I mean, just in general, everyone's dealing with information overload these days.
Totally.
So yeah, that would be huge.
And students are also using it for brainstorming research ideas, which can be a tough thing for some people.
Yeah.
AI can help them explore different angles and connect ideas in new ways.
So it sounds like they're mostly using it as a tool to supplement what they're already doing. But of course, the big question is, does it actually help them learn or does it take away from their learning?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
It's still early, but the findings, DO, suggest that students are mostly using AI to enhance their learning rather than replace it.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it shows that they're understanding the limitations of AI and that it's just a tool.
Right. Not the solution to everything. But what about the ethics of all this?
Yeah, that's something we should talk about more. It's a crucial part of this whole conversation.
Definitely.
I need to
Yeah.
think carefully about that.
Okay, so let's do it. We'll pick up on this ethical discussion in part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay, so we were just talking about how like almost all college students are using AI these days,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think about. But what about the ethics of it all? Like, is it even allowed?
Yeah, that's the question, right? It's a tricky situation for sure.
Because like, what even counts as plagiarism anymore?
Right.
AI can just generate original text. It seems impossible for professors to even figure that out.
It is a huge challenge. Like the old ways of catching plagiarism just don't work with this AI stuff.
So are universities like freaking out?
Well, they can't just ignore it. Right.
They're trying different things. Some are focusing on teaching students how to use AI responsibly, like being transparent and citing their sources properly.
That makes sense?
Others are trying new kinds of assignments,
Oh, like what?
things that are harder for AI to just, fake, like projects or oral exams.
So it's a lot of experimenting to see what works.
Exactly.
It's not just about changing rules, though, is it?
No, it's also about changing how we think about all this.
Like fundamentally rethinking plagiarism.
Yeah, we need to move away from just punishing students and toward like a deeper understanding of how AI can actually be used ethically.
Did this FTPI report say anything about student attitudes towards this?
They did,
Hmm.
and there was one finding that really surprised me.
What was that?
34% of students said they'd actually work harder if they knew AI was grading them.
Really? I would think it would be the opposite. Like, if a machine is grading me, why bother?
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But they might like how AI gives feedback instantly and doesn't play favorites. Like it just points out what needs work
Mm.
without any judgment.
Yeah, I can see that. It's
Yeah,
like having a robot tutor who's available 24/7.
exactly. And some students are probably motivated by trying to outsmart the AI. Like it becomes a challenge.
A game almost.
Yeah,
So it's not just about the feedback itself, but also the psychology of it.
totally.
But what about the students who said they'd put in less effort?
That was actually a smaller group, only 29%. But their concerns are important. Some worry that AI won't understand the nuances of their work.
Like it'll just miss the point completely.
Yeah, and they might feel like they're just being reduced to data points.
Like the human element is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all about balance.
Yeah.
We need to use AI, but also keep that connection between students and teachers.
What about the students who said their effort wouldn't change?
That was 27%.
Hmm.
It's hard to say why for sure. Maybe they're just really driven to learn no matter what.
It's interesting how different everyone is.
It is, and that's something we need to remember. There's no one right way to do this.
So what happens now?
Well, the HEPI report has some suggestions for universities and students. And that's what we'll talk about in the last part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've been talking about all these ways AI is changing things for college students. It's like a whole new world of learning and even how they're graded. It sounds overwhelming, honestly, but also kind of exciting. So what now? Where do we go from here?
Well, the good news is that the HEPI report gives some actual advice for universities on how to deal with this whole AI thing.
Okay, so what do they say?
Well, one big thing is that universities need to be ready to change their rules, like all the time.
Because AI changes so fast.
Exactly.
It's like you can't just make a rule and think it'll work forever.
It's a moving target.
Makes sense.
And they also say that training teachers and staff is super important.
Right, because you can't just ban AI, can you?
Nope.
It's here to stay.
It is, and teachers need to understand how it works and how students might be using it, so they can teach them how to use it the right way.
It's like giving teachers the tools to be good guides in this whole new world.
Exactly. And it's not just about the technical stuff either. It's also about having honest conversations with students about the ethics of using AI.
Like, what are the limits?
Yeah, and what are the risks and benefits?
So it's like a multi-pronged approach. Train the teachers, engage the students, and always be ready to adapt.
It's a lot.
It is, but it also seems like a huge opportunity. We get to shape how AI is used in education.
We do, and that's a big responsibility.
We need to be proactive, not just react when things go wrong.
Absolutely.
And the report also talks about teaching students to think critically about AI.
Yeah, it's not just about using the tools. It's about understanding what they're good at and what they're bad at.
And recognizing that AI can be biased too.
Right.
It's like media literacy, but for AI. We need to help students navigate this world where information can come from anywhere, and they need to be able to figure out what's real and what's not.
Exactly. And in the end, it's all about those human skills that AI can't replace. Things like critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, empathy, communication.
All right, good stuff.
Those are the skills that will always be valuable, no matter what job you have.
Because those are the things that make us human.
Right. And that brings us back to that question we asked before. What does it even mean to be educated in a world full of AI?
It's a good question.
I think it's about finding that balance, using AI, but also remembering what makes us human.
It's not an either-or situation.
No, it's about both.
And the exciting thing is we're just getting started.
We are.
We're figuring out how to use AI for good, and education is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Like we're on the edge of something amazing. So to everyone listening out there, stay curious, stay engaged, and be a part of shaping this future.
It's going to be incredible.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.